So I've got the most beautiful chicken and mushroom pie, absolute comfort food, with a little bit of spring onion and mustard, delicious. Get yourself a little knife. So these chicken breasts here, I'm gonna slice these into centimetre slices. I've got a little enamel metal tin, whack it on to a high heat, a couple of lugs of olive oil in there. Get your chicken, put it into your olive oil. Of course, we want to hit that with some sea salt, a little bit of cracked black pepper, knob of butter in the chicken. I've got some spring onions here. Slice up the spring onions as best as you can. I'm not bothered. You know, the great thing about these 30-minute meals recipes, if you're rubbish with a knife, it's all right. If you're brilliant, it's all right. Don't matter. Get yourself a little box grater, the fine attachment, or one of these little graters, and you just want, you know, quarter of a nutmeg, 1 or 2 bay leaves. I'm just going to tear the stalk off of these bay leaves, and a little bit of thyme. And then we want mushrooms. I've got about 150 grams, or a kind of big handful of button mushrooms. You know, pick these bad boys up, get a slicer attachment on your processor, and put them in. You know what I mean? So, mushrooms go in. I'm going to now turn this into like a pie filling. 1 heaped tablespoon of creme fraiche. In at this point is a heaped teaspoon of flour, and then attitude, a heaped teaspoon of mustard. And then 1 of these little tubs of pre-done chicken stock, if you haven't got any of your own, of course, or a stock cube and a bit of water. This is about 300 mils of stock, and we just mix it up. And you've already got a beautiful, creamy sauce. So I'm going to turn it down to low, because I've got no rush now. I'm happy. Some puff pastry. Buy it, pre-done, and then you just put that pastry on here and tuck it into bed and fold the pastry sort of back in on itself. I want it to glaze and look beautiful. So you can use milk or 1 egg. Just lightly brush this pastry on top. Oh, looks very nice. Let's get a bit of rosemary, stick it right in there. Right, in the oven. That is cooked when it looks cooked. The pie, I can see, is done. Let's just move that over. Look at that. Beautiful. First and foremost, we've got to get the filling done. I've got 3 onions here, peeled and sliced, OK? So that's in a pan with a little olive oil, salt and pepper. I want a sprig of rosemary. And then I've got 3 cloves of garlic. Just grate it on a grater. Or you could slice it up, but it's quite nice, I think. Or you could use one of those funny little garlic presses. So that goes into there. Like that. Mix it in. And at this point, I want a nice knob of butter. About 2 ounces. Straight in. While it's melting, I've got 2 sticks of celery that I've just finely sliced. 2 carrots, peeled and sliced. Mushrooms, just slice them up. Don't use button mushrooms, because I hate them. Filled mushrooms, portobello mushrooms. And you can kind of break them up in your hands a little bit as well. Good flavour. And then over here, I've got some brisket of beef. I've got inch dice of brisket of beef, and straight in there. So, at this point, we're just about there. A big pinch of pepper, a big pinch of salt, and then 1 can, just under a pint, of Guinness. Just going to pour that in. Guinness and red meat is genius. And I just want to stir in a heaped tablespoon of flour, and that's just to give it an element of body and thickness. All I have to do now is just get a little bit of water or beef stock and just top that up just a little bit so you can see the meat, but it's not covering it. Lid goes on. I'm going to put that in an oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit, just to let all the flavours mix up, and you're going to get a really nice, robust stew, perfect either for a stew or for a filling. Right, this stew's been in for about 2 hours. Let's have a little look. What you really want for a perfect pie filling is a reasonably dry stew inside. If it's too wet, there's just going to be stock and juice pouring everywhere. So I'm going to leave that there, and I want to get into pastry mode. I'm cheating, because I'm actually going to use a pre-bought puff pastry. And when you go to supermarkets now, you can get all butter, pre-packed, pre-made puff pastry. And to be honest, I can't think of a situation where I'd ever make my own puff pastry. It's a right palaver. It needs quite a bit of experience and time to do it. So I'm just going to get it out onto there. And I want to just cut off a third of it, just like that, for my lid. And then I want a little bit of flour. And this is an opportunity really to sort of go over some real basics of rolling. And when I was taught to do it, I was always taught to roll in front of you. So not sort of go like this or like that. Just move the pastry around to suit you and keep it lightly dusted so it's not going to stick. And I want to get this pastry rolled out to about 3 millimetres thick. Oh, nearly did it then. You nearly caught me. My old pastry teacher would kill me for that. Right, so we're there. All I want to do is take the pastry to one side, get my lovely dish, let the sides in here, like that, and have the excess hanging over. Now, once you've done that, we can start thinking about filling this little baby. On the cheese front, I've got 100 grams of cheddar cheese stirred into the stew. And all I want to do now is get this filling in here like this. Look at that. Every last bit of it. And then very importantly, you want another 100 grams of cheese, or another handful, on the top. There you go. And that just makes a little cap on the top. And then, with this little bit of pastry, very quickly roll out your lid. You don't need it to be massive, you just need it to cover the exposed stew, really. And you can have it a little bit thicker. Crack an egg in there. First and foremost, I want to get my egg wash and just brush it around the outside here. And what this is going to do is going to kind of give you a nice seal between the lid of the pastry and the bottom of the pastry. And of course, that's just going to help to hold in all the juices and hold in the steam and the flavour. And then, as far as this lid's concerned, just score it lightly with a knife in a crisscross fashion, about 1 centimetre apart. It's not just to make it look pretty. Actually, when the puff pastry cooks and it starts to puff up, it goes different directions and you kind of have more crispy bits. And it's like the best bit some ways. So just score that across like that. Egg wash this now. And then I'm going to pick this up and put this straight over the pie. And then with these bits, just pull them back over and crinkle this up. And absolutely, if you were taught officially in college to do this, you'd have been told to clean off the excess and crimp the sides. And I'm like, well, I don't want to throw away any stuff. I don't want to waste any stuff. People are always fighting over the pastry. Plus, I think it makes it look nice and rustic. Quaff it all up like that. And look at that. That is a beautiful pie. I'm now going to put that in the oven, back at 180, 350 Fahrenheit. And I'll cook that for about 40 minutes or until bubbling and golden. And that is a good one. Right, I've got some nice frozen peas, dare I say it. Frozen peas are fantastic, actually. Tossed in some butter, and that is it. My pie's had about 40 minutes in here. Have a look at that. Beautiful. Let's serve this little baby up. Go on, right over the top. Wow.
Down in my little recipe hut, I've got the perfect sharing dish to kick off our Friday night.
I am so excited to give you a recipe for an amazing homemade pie. Beautiful, crumbly pastry, chicken, sweet leeks, creamy sauce. This is gonna be amazing. It starts here with a chicken. So a nice free-range chicken. What I wanna do first is cut it in half. Just hold the chicken, get the tip, cut down the back, and then down the breast. So in a pan, we'll have just a tiny bit of oil. So chicken goes into the pan. I'm using the whole chicken. You get maximum flavour from the bones and the bone marrow, but also the joy of white meat, brown meat, and the sweet meat is incredible. So we've got a second pan on a medium heat, and what I want to do is start frying off a beautiful base to give you the best pie filling ever. For that, I'm going to start with some smoky bacon. Just cut ourselves some little lardons. So into the pan we go, add a little oil, and that is an incredible welcoming party for vegetables and herbs. So we'll start off with thyme to rip that in, and then base vegetables. 1 heart of celery, 1 onion, 1 carrot, and 1 leek. Roughly sliced into sort of 1.5 centimetre dice. Into the pan. I don't want the veg so small that it's going to disappear. I want to have chunks of veggies. So about 10-15 minutes of gentle frying. So that gives us time to clean down and make the pastry. Add 500 grams of plain flour to a bowl, a pinch of sea salt, and 250 grams of very cold butter. So by grating the butter like that, it just makes it so easy to rub into the flour. Pour in 100 millilitres of cold water and bring it together. And kind of hug it. No kneading, just hugging. That's what we want. And I'm going to just form it into 2 balls. Divide so it's 1/3 for the lid and 2/3 for the base. Wrap them up and flatten out and leave to chill in the fridge until needed. If you look in here now, we have a nice bit of colour. That means we've got mega flavour already. I want to turn this into a beautiful sauce to stew that chicken, right? To pull out all that flavour. I'm going to use scrumpy, beautiful cloudy cider. Just a nice little swig goes in. The smell is phenomenal, and we want to cook all of that cider away. Go in with a heaped teaspoon of English mustard, 2 heaped tablespoons of plain flour, a litre of chicken stock, and bring to a simmer. At this point in the story, we've created that stewing environment, and we're taking that lovely, crispy golden chicken, and those bones are straight down into that sauce. So lid on top, and just let it blip away for around about an hour until the thigh meat pulls off the bone, and that will be incredible. This fat in the pan, by the way, I'm going to keep that for a little secret later. So the chicken is done. If I just pull the thigh meat, and it should just fall off the bone. That's what we want. Super tender, super delicious, happy days. Oh. So meat into here. I have been slicing up 500 grams of button mushrooms. By putting the mushrooms in at this stage, you get really sweet, nutty mushroom flavour. Oh, stir that through. OK, so now 2 forks and just pull that tender meat from the bone. At this point, the bones have done their job. They've given you awesome flavour. Carefully remove all the bones, add the chunks of chicken back to the stew, and mix through 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche. So I want this stew to do 2 things. Give me amazing, perfect filling, and then also an incredible sauce. And we can have both by one easy little trick that I love. Get yourself a pan, get yourself a colander, and sieve that filling. The sauce will go through it, and you can reheat that later to pour on top of your pie. Put that to one side, and now we can make our pie. So we'll get our pastry out of the fridge, and we'll roll this out so it's going to line this beautiful pie dish. What I will do is just give a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of the dish and give it a rub. Put your chilled pastry in between a sheet of greaseproof paper and roll it till it's 1/2 centimetre thick. Add to the pie dish, pour in the cooled filling, and roll out your pie lid. I don't care if it cracks. I embrace it. Look, I'm going to tear it. Oh, no, there's a crack. It doesn't matter. We're going to just tear it up and put it in just like that. And as we take in the sides, we're going to create just a beautiful rustic pie. So just a little egg wash, So I'm going to cook that now for about an hour, put it at the bottom of the oven. The temperature will be 190 degrees Celsius, which is 375 Fahrenheit, and that will be a thing of beauty. So that glorious pie is nearly done. And I've just knocked up a bit of mashed potato. You guys know how to do that, but what you might not know how to do is make cabbage beautiful. We're going to do something quick and delicious and amazing. Roughly slice up the cabbage and add to the chicken fat you saved earlier. Cook over a high heat until softened and lightly charred. Add a splash of water, a teaspoon of mustard, and a pinch of salt and white pepper. These three things bring out the most wonderful flavour. Just takes your everyday cabbage to another place. So cabbage is done, our gravy is bubbling away and reheating nicely. And then, yes, that, my friends, is what I wanted. Look at that. Bubbling, blipping, look. Just so, so good. The hispy cabbage that is soft and succulent, but it's got the char. Good old mashed potato, always a good friend of a pie. Then we'll get a gravy boat. This poured over the top of your pie will be a joyful thing. Oh, look how flaky that pastry is. I'm very excited. Come on. Look at that, we've got the chunks of chicken, the flaky pastry. That is a slice of heaven. Let's have a dunk mash, some of that amazing cabbage done good, and then gravy. Let's get in there. Hallelujah. You know, using the whole chicken gives you the hyper flavour. Everyone deserves to enjoy a good homemade pie. Guys, what are you waiting for? It's a beautiful day today, and I'm going to show you a lovely, gorgeous chicken pie. It's from my new book, Together. I'm really proud of it. There's all kinds of meals for different occasions. This chapter is called Laidback Feast. It's a puff pastry pie with sausage, bacon, chicken, and that beautiful watercress sauce is so, so good. I'm actually going to cook it today for my crew. Yes, we're going to feed them for once. Let's give these a little wash and let's get cooking. So, 2 rashers of smoky bacon. Finely slice this up. You don't need loads, right? It's going to give you that beautiful smoky flavour. Render that fat out. 2 chicken thighs, free-range organic. Everything's getting cut up into little 3-centimetre chunks. So get that chicken into the bacon fat on a medium-high heat. 2 sausages. Pinch the sausage out into nice little chunks like that. Brown off the chicken and the sausage in the bacon. Look at that. Season it fairly generously with black pepper. If you wanted to add some herb, what do you like? I've got a little bit of savoury, which I love. 2 potatoes, cut them exactly the same size, 3-centimetre. Every time we add an ingredient, just stir it for all those beautiful flavours and fats. 2 leeks. The white part is very tender, and the green part has seen the sunlight, so it's got more flavour and more structure. It's a bit tougher. So the way I fix that is by finely slicing the green part and helping the cooking, you know, kind of break it down a little bit. And then when you get to the lovely white part, just clank it up into 3-centimetre chunks again. Yes! It smells amazing. While that's frying, I'm gonna have a quick little clean down. The sound that you're hearing is a good one, sizzling. So we're browning off the chicken, the bacon, the sausage, and the potatoes are absorbing all of that lovely flavour. Achieving that colour is achieving like 20% extra flavour. And now we're going to add some more flavour. 2 teaspoons of English mustard and 2 tablespoons of plain flour. So 2, 2, 2, all through the story. Easy to remember, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. We're going to go in now with 500 millilitres of chicken stock or veggie stock. You can see the flour thickening and shining up this beautiful stew. Now, to make a really creamy but simple sauce, add some milk. Bring that up to a simmer now and let it just tick over for about 15 minutes. That simple. This method now is the unusual bit. We're going to use a colander to basically separate the gravy from the meat, the potatoes and the veg. It's going to give you the perfect texture for the filling. So when nearly all of the liquid has come out, pour it into here. Tender, tasty and gorgeous.
So let's have a little try of the gravy. Oh, really, really good. So we can take that to another level, not just in flavour, but in colour. Beautiful watercress. It's got that nice mustardy flavour. Pour that gravy on top. Whiz that up for a minute. Look at that colour. You've taken something gorgeous but quite simple and everyday, and now it's exciting. Put most of it in here, and then about 100 mils of it you can put in here. So amazing colour, amazing flavour. Now onto the pastry. We're going to use puff pastry. It's so convenient, it's so good. It's an all butter puff pastry. Grab a little pastry cutter and just do little random sort of cuts, odds and sods. Whatever you do, make it completely erratic. Think patchwork quilt. No matter what you do, it's all going to kind of like cook and puff up into a gorgeous topping. Because there's little kind of gaps, that lovely green sauce will kind of find its way through and blip through and make nice little crispy bits. I love that. If you want to, you can glaze or egg wash your pastry. Just crack one egg into a little jar like that. Give it a little mix up and we just brush. Don't trim it. Don't try and be neat. Go with the flow. Joy. So that goes in the oven now for 45 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, until golden and gorgeous. Then we can feed the crew. Mighty fine. The crew will most definitely destroy this. Ho, ho, ho. Lovely new potatoes, peas and asparagus. I've got another dish here from the book, Vegetables a la Grecque. So guys, what are you waiting for? Get involved, have a go. Please look out for the book. But for now, crew, tuck in! With more and more of us eating less meat these days, the chances of you lovely people having a vegetarian around the Christmas table is very high. So let me give you the most incredible edible present that the veggies are going to kiss you for and the meat eaters are going to fight you for. Introducing the one and only Veggie Petivier. It's the most incredible French-style pie, a parcel of puff pastry, crispy and gorgeous, with layer upon layer of amazing sweet, slow-roasted celeriac, creamy, gorgeous mushrooms, and even a little bit of sauce on the side. Guys, it starts here with celeriac. We're going to take the top off. You want to leave the skin on. Take some olive oil, give it a drizzle up, sea salt, lots of black pepper. Get your hands in there and have a little rub up. And when that starts to roast on the outside with the skin, it's going to be truly delicious. Now I'm going to wrap it in tin foil, just put it over like that, and there you go. That now goes in the oven for an hour and a half, and we're going to cook it at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit, and the flavours that will happen in here will be absolutely immense. Now it's time to make the sauce. A lovely bechamel style sauce with sweet leeks, garlic and mushrooms. It's going to be a joy. So I have 2 leeks. The ends I'll just take off. Get your knife, run it down the length of the leek and just go as thin as you can. Let's get cooking. We're going to put some butter, the white part of the leeks. Get yourself 2 cloves of garlic, slice it up. Garlic goes in. Look at that. Already smells amazing. We've got our standard button mushrooms and our chestnut mushrooms, but absolutely you can upgrade for wild mushrooms at this time of year. Whether you go for the cheapest mushroom or the most expensive, it's still bloomin' delicious. So in the pan with our mushrooms, cook those for about 10-15 minutes. And it's this stage of making a sauce that's going to give you the oomph, the flavour. So I'm going to use a teaspoon of English mustard, and then I'm going to use 2 heaped tablespoons of just plain flour. That's your thickening agent. And then we're going to let it down with 800 mils of milk. And as I add the milk, it will start to just get silkier. We'll let that simmer now, just enough time for me to get some herbs chopped up. So just finely slice the parsley. You can see it's nice and thick. I'm going to turn off the heat. And there's one last ingredient, 120 grams of beautiful blue cheese. Have a little taste. Oh, beautiful. Now let's make the filling. Right, let's have a little look. Oh, look at that. There you go. You see it's caramelized. It's shrunk a little bit. And then slice it like a piece of ham. Don't worry if it breaks or if there's a few bits that sort of plop off. Get yourself a regular bowl, olive oil, and then just put the cling film through like that. Use your hand to push it into the corner. And now what I want to do is take beautiful slices of the celeriac. Place that just up the side like that. And it doesn't matter if you do this well or badly, right? Just line the side. Don't panic, don't stress. And then a base like that. That is what you end up with. Then we're going to go over to our sauce. Just put a little bit of that in there. And then again, layer that celeriac, beautiful creamy sauce. So last layer, push it right around and use those last little bits to make your topping. And then at this stage, we'll use that cling film Just pull it tight. Get yourself a little plate so you can weigh it down. And then if we put that in the fridge overnight, the fridge temperature is gonna make it really firm, and then it's really, really easy to turn into the most incredible pie. It's gonna be beautiful. This has been in the fridge, so it's firmed up. But then we need to encase it in some pastry. I'm cheating, I'm using all butter puff pastry. It's even rolled out for us. Take it as a square, like that, all the way. So we now have the base. I've got some egg yolks here. Take our filling, just turn it out into the middle of our pie like that. And then I'm gonna use another roll, and we wanna flap it on top. So line up and just go over. And this is almost like making the most incredible little Christmas present, right? Pat the top, we go to one side, right into the corner, define that shape. And we want to cut about 1.5 centimeters around the pie, like this. We don't have to waste this, right? You can put Parmesan in there, a bit of cayenne pepper, a few little twists, do a nice little nibble. Get yourself a little chair, come down to this beautiful pie's level. Get myself some flour, take one finger, forefinger, you push it in, you take your thumb and forefinger and squeeze around it. And as you squeeze, pinch it at the end, and you get that. And what's great about this is it seals the two bits of pastry together. We'll put a little cross in there, that will let the steam out, and I'm gonna give it a really nice glaze. And this is gonna give it the most incredible bronze tan. This is a French pie that's come truly via Essex. Look at that tan, come on. And then I'll take my knife from the center and just turn it and score it. And I go back, and then I'll turn it and score it. You do not wanna cut all the way through. Now, last but not least, a little bit of my offcuts. Cut a little circle out, find something round. You can just cut out that center part like that, and then lay that over our little cross. And you can do that 1-2 days before Christmas. That is a celebration of a dish. Now, because it's Christmas, get yourself a wodge of rosemary, get some olive oil on there, and dress it up. It's gonna smell nice, look nice. It's like a little wreath. That will be cooked at the bottom of the oven at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, for 2 hours. Ho, ho, ho! Look at that. It's a thing of beauty. Oh, yes! This is a veggie dish that meat eaters will fight for. So good. Come on. A nice little drizzle of the sauce. Come on. Just beautiful. Let's go for the end. Wowzers. Your guests will not know what's happened. Merry Veggie Christmas.